students in higher learning have shared some unsettling experiences. Things that happened in dorms, classrooms, and late at night on campus. Tonight, you'll hear 3 creepy paranormal stories that might make you think twice about what really lingers in the dark.
That's what I call it anyways. This was about 15 years ago. While at university, I majored in psychology. I love studying how the mind works and develops, why we do the things we do and think the things we think. I think there is a rational explanation for everything, sometimes to a fault. I'd shrug off an intruder in the dead of night if I thought there was a good enough reason for them to be there. Are they in the wrong house? Am I in the wrong house? I can explain away just about anything, except this. One night, my roommates and I were chilling with a few other friends over, just like any other normal college night, listening to music, playing some card games, just hanging out having a good time. We were not drinking. We didn't smoke. It was not exam time, so stress was at normal levels for a college student trying to balance work, school, and social life. It was a good night. We wrapped things up as we had class in the AM, and most everyone went home at a fairly normal hour for us. 11, 12. Off to bed I went. We had a 4-bedroom apartment. We all shared a living room and kitchen and laundry room, but we each had our own room and bathroom. Each bedroom was a perfect square, except the slightest little indentation where the door was, as the closets were built into the square, so it almost made what I will call a little hallway, or entry nook, into the bedroom. We all had a window, and an entry into our own bathrooms. My bed was in the corner of the room, next to the window, and across from the door into my bedroom, and sliding closet doors. There was a street lamp that was outside the window that acted almost like a nightlight. Even with the blinds closed, it always radiated a soft yellow glow in my room. I didn't mind it. I always had a clear view of who was coming into my room, even if it was dark. So I curl up in my bed and doze off to sleep. I don't remember what time it was, but for some reason, I wake up to this intense feeling that someone is watching me. Not like I woke up terrified, just like, okay, this is not a drill. Someone is in my room. I was asleep facing the corner, away from the door. I am convinced someone is in my room, hiding in the nook. Like the feeling is palpable. You know when someone is in your personal space. I laid there for a few seconds for 2 reasons. A, I was sleeping hard and had drool running up the side of my face, so was embarrassed that I was probably snoring like a machine. B, it's college. If someone is playing a trick on me, I'm getting them before they get me. An adrenaline rush started to take hold in anticipation. I have my eyes open as wide as I can, trying to soak in every last bit of light my eyes can decipher in the dark. I use all of my strength to flip around as fast as possible. If anybody is getting caught off guard, it's them. My heart is officially fluttering. My eyes dart back and forth only to realize nobody is there. It took a couple of seconds, because the overwhelming feeling of someone in my room was still there, but my eyes were proving otherwise. Just the soft glow of the street lamp outside radiating through my closed blinds. I laid there for a second, getting myself together. Like, what was that? Nothing? Okay, obviously nothing. My pounding heartbeat had retreated a good bit. That euphoric feeling of an adrenaline rush subsided, and I rolled myself back around to face the corner and go back to sleep. As I roll over, a dark mist shoots from my bed and up the corner of the wall, before it rolls out across the ceiling before dissipating into nothingness. It was almost like a thick black fog, if you will, like fire smoke that makes waves across a surface. It scared the absolute bejesus out of me. I don't know what it was, but it was dark and fast and disappearing. I laid there with the lights on for about an hour before I could fall back asleep. With its disappearance, so too was the feeling that someone was in my room. Maybe my eyes were playing a trick on me? Maybe they had not adjusted to the light in the room. Maybe I was delusional. It was there, but it's not now, and who knows what it was. I go back to sleep. I get up to my alarm in the morning, and as always go to make a coffee and stand in my roommate's doorway while she does her makeup and listens to music. Just a good old morning schmooze fest. She was not as far along as she usually is. Her hair was in a messy bun when she opened her door, and I didn't hear her music through the bathroom wall like always when I woke up. Our rooms shared bathroom walls. She had her glasses still on, and looks like she had literally just rolled out of bed. We had always talked about religious and spiritual and paranormal stuff before, so I was dying to talk to her about my experience, but also thought she would think I had absolutely lost it. I asked her how she slept, already knowing from her demeanor, not very well. She said she didn't sleep well, and had a nightmare for the first time that she can remember in a long time. She looked half in tears and said she was not out of bed yet, because she called and talked to her mom about it. My spidey sense starts tingling, and I get goosebumps as she explains that. Around the same time I woke up, she woke up from a nightmare involving a devil-like creature with horns and a formless presence that filled up the space in her dream like a smoke, or a black fog that also shielded its face from full view. I dang near dropped because what are the chances that it is a coincidence? After she told me all the details of her dream, I told her about my experience, and we both officially freaked. To this day, we have not been able to make sense of what we experienced, and I have never seen it again, nor has she. Our roommates on the other side of the apartment didn't experience anything.
Hello, this is my first Reddit post ever. I just made my account to post this. I've been talking to a few friends about this experience recently, and since I often read things on Reddit, I thought I'd share my one and only truly paranormal experience. It was November 2017, my first term of my first year at university. For anyone in the UK or from London, I was at UCL for undergrad. I wanted the proper student experience, did not enjoy sharing a bathroom, and changed halls rather swiftly. So it was a Saturday evening. All my flatmates had left to go out or to go home for the weekend. My dad had died in the September of the same year, and looking back, I was really struggling at uni. I would either be incredibly outgoing or incredibly withdrawn. That weekend, I just wanted to stay in. It was a normal evening. I had ordered food and I was watching Netflix on my laptop. Then I started to hear someone sort of running in the hallway, followed by the main flat door and another being slammed shut. My bedroom was the first one by our main flat door, a door which could only be opened with a key, not a fob. Same for all our rooms. It didn't alarm me too much. I assumed it was just one of my flatmates dashing back in to get something. About 10 minutes passed. I'd put my headphones back on and gone back to watching my show. Then, around 10:30 p.m., I remember, because I checked the time when I called one of my sisters, things got really weird. Suddenly, I started hearing someone opening the main flat door and sprinting all the way down to the emergency doors at the end of the hall. Then again and again, all within a matter of a few seconds, the same thing, but this time, a couple of our individual room doors slammed open and shut as well. It all happened within seconds, and I mean it when I say that, which is a ridiculous amount of time because the hall was fairly long, and the doors aren't that easy or quick to open quickly. It's key locks, not fobs. It happened around a dozen times. The speed was just not human. It carried on for around maybe 10 more minutes, but I'm not sure for how long exactly. I was on the phone to my older sister the whole time, and she told me to open my door and see what's going on. Finally got myself to open the door, and there was absolutely nobody there. Not one person, and the slamming and running had stopped. I went back into my room and locked my door because I was absolutely shitting it, and it started up again a few minutes later. At the time, I did wonder if maybe it was some sort of prank by maintenance or reception staff who know students smoke weed and are easy to scare/make paranoid. But the speed at which the doors were opening and slamming was insane. Genuinely impossible. It was impossible, and I tested it myself with my flatmates when they were all back on Sunday. The main door locks itself every time it's slammed shut, so whoever was doing it would have had to unlock it again with a key. It's just not possible to do that at that speed. Whoever was doing this would have had to fumble with the keys to open it again. It was just impossible to do so fast. It might not be the most riveting or interesting experience, but it was terrifying. It's hard for me to explain how scary it was for me. I knew this wasn't a human. I just knew, which sounds ridiculous in itself, but there you have it. I graduated from UCL in 2020 and still think about it from time to time. I've always been into spooky things, but I've never had an experience myself until that night. As a teenager, I had been ghost hunting in abandoned temples and mosques across Asia and the Middle East. Witnessed rituals of the people of Papua New Guinea with my father and godfather. Talked with agorists about life and death. Ouija boards with friends, which I just watched and didn't participate in because I'm incredibly careful and worried about that sort of thing, and also because I don't really believe in Ouija boards. But no sign of ghosts, etc., anything of the sort. I would say I'm fairly spiritual, not overly or even modestly, but ish, spiritualish. When the moment's right, I believe in God, but not really too practicing. Anyway, all this to say, I truly believe whatever was running and slamming those doors that night was not human. I still can't think of any other explanation. If anyone could offer one, I'd love it. Thanks for reading, and I hope you have a lovely day. I would like to add that there was only ever what sounded like one person running. It didn't sound like multiple people.
When I was 26 years old and 8 months pregnant with my first daughter, I had a very clear and memorable dream that I knew I had to write down and not forget. I knew that it was very important, and that one day I would know what to do with the message that I had been given. I had a dream about a woman that I have never seen before. She was pushing a stroller with a baby boy sleeping in it. She walked down the street on a street that I was familiar with. She was heading towards the elementary school at the end of the block. There was an intersection that had stop signs that went from north to south and east to west. The elementary school was across the street from block that the woman was walking on. She had to use the crosswalk that ran east to west side of the intersection. As she approached the corner, she paused, looked both ways, and entered the crosswalk to cross the street. Out of nowhere, a black Honda sped around the corner out of an alley that exited right next to the intersection where the woman was crossing the street. The car was heading right for her, going too fast to be able to stop in time. Right before the car hit the woman and the stroller, I woke up in a panic. I wrote down every detail and did my best to memorize what the woman looked like because I knew that she was not someone who I currently knew. There was a reason why I had this dream. I had to warn this young woman somehow. I just didn't know when or how I could do this. 6 months after I gave birth to my daughter, I decided to enroll in the evening classes at the local beauty school. I had always wanted to do hair, and the new session of classes was beginning the next month. I received a full grant to cover the tuition and excitedly started my beauty school journey. 3 months later, I finished the freshman program and was starting to take clients on the senior floor to receive hands-on experience for the services we had learned about while in the freshman program. The new group of evening program students were beginning their freshman program that night. We were meeting the new students when the woman from my dream entered the school and was standing in front of me. I was so surprised to see her. I had no idea who she was, but I had a message that I needed to share with her. I walked right up to her and said, "You're going to think that I'm crazy, but I need to tell you something very important." She looked at me with a strange look on her face and told me to tell her if it was so important already. So I told her exactly what I saw in my dream and told her to please believe me. I told her to not forget and to be very careful. She asked me how I knew about her baby, and I told her that I didn't know. I did know that if I didn't warn her about what I saw in my dream, that her baby and herself would be hit by that reckless driver. She told me that I was crazy and walked away from me. She avoided me like the plague for the next month that we attended school together. 2 months later, the woman that I now knew was named Kathleen walked up to me. She was white as a ghost and asked me to go outside so she could talk to me. I followed her outside, and she hugged me before saying a word. Kathleen said, "I went home the night you told me about the dream and told my mom that a crazy woman at school told me that she had a dream about me. She said that she had to tell me so she could save my life. I didn't believe a word that you said, but my mom told me to write it down and to not forget it." Then she started crying before saying, "I was walking to my niece's school to attend a Student of the Month Awards assembly, pushing my son's stroller. I got to the intersection where the crosswalk for the school was, when I felt the hair on the back of my neck start to rise. I looked both ways and was going to enter the crosswalk when I clearly heard your voice telling me to stop. Stay on the sidewalk." She realized that she was exactly at the location that I had dreamed about close to 10 months before I had ever met her. She started to laugh it off when a black Honda sped around the corner from the alley not far from where she stood on the sidewalk. The car ran the stop sign and drove right where she would have been if she had been walking in the crosswalk. "You saved us. I don't know how, but you knew that we would have been run over by that reckless driver." We were both crying, and I was so grateful that I took that dream seriously. Thankfully, we both decided to attend the same beauty school in order to meet for the first time. Thankfully, she told her mom about what I told her, and her mom told her to take my message seriously.
Thanks for listening to Subliminal Tapes. If you enjoyed these creepy stories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us again for more unsettling tales.